I remember in high school, I was one of those kids that always tried to fit in, but it just never worked. It never worked out for me. I always thought, gosh, what would it have been like to be a part of the popular group, And it just seemed like they had something that I just craved and I wanted, and it seemed so special and exclusive, And I wanted to know what that felt like. I did, and I think maybe if we're being honest, there's the majority of the world probably feels that way, growing up. Well, that same mentality that I had in high school, it certainly didn't stop there. It kept going. It went into my college years, and then it went into my working years with companies and peers and whatever. Like I wanted to be someone important, someone valuable, and well, just to go back a little bit in my years. I as well, if you've been following me, if you've been hearing me, I grew up evangelical, and in some of those churches, that I went to, it certainly seemed like you had to dress a certain way, you had to speak a certain way, and you had to believe a certain way, and so on, and some of those things, sure, that's to your benefit, right? But on the other hand, I kept losing who I am. Who am I? And so we're constantly bombarded by advertisements and you know what's it called, those different clothing attires, and if you wear this, you're gonna feel this way, and if you don't wear that, you're gonna feel better, and then it just carries on, and it goes on and on and on. It's like this insane circus wheel. Well, listen to what Paul says to the Galatians in chapter 6. I'll just read one verse, but he says, for those who are circumcised do not even keep the law themselves, but they desire to have you circumcised so that they may boast in your flesh. And one of the things that just didn't jive with me is this whole idea of recruiting people. Well, that's what I'm going to talk about in this next podcast, at least a little bit, but we'll see how it goes.